How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Extra Innings, episode 4 of Extra Innings, from episode 43 of the Majors podcast. Today we talked about, obviously, a huge subject was Brady Hoke being announced. Well, tomorrow, technically at 1 o'clock, he will be announced officially as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines football. But he is going to be the next coach, the 19th head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. And we talked about how the circus surrounding it really wasn't anyone in Michigan's fault. It wasn't David Brannon's fault. He did exactly what he said he was going to do, but the media circus that surrounded it, inevitably, because Michigan is, if arguably, the most sought-after job in the country still for sports. So it was a circus made by us and the media alike, and it was a big deal. And Brady Hoke, San Diego State former coach, is now the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. And it'll be interesting to see what he does. Obviously, he coached under Lloyd Carr in the 90s. So it'll be, I'm excited about it. And it seems like it took a long time only because you had updates every 12 seconds telling you that it was taking them forever. If no one said anything, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
You know, the circus itself isn't so negative. It's that they were negative about the circus.
Yeah, exactly.
It could have been a circus, but it could have been fun. It could have been positive. Instead, people just choose to be so negative about it. And when you don't get, Jim Harbaugh, Les Miles, or Jesus Christ as, your host. No, not the other Jesus Christ.
The real one.
Original Jesus.
Oh, original Jesus.
When you don't get somebody like that, excuse me, as your head coach, they flip out.
Yeah.
If you can't name off the top of your head everything about Brady Hoke, if you have to, God forbid, go out and maybe do a little bit of research, original, God forbid, on Brady Hoke, then, it must have been a bad pick. But
yeah, of course.
Brady Hoke is...
Hoke sucks.
He could be the Great White Hoke for Michigan.
No Hoke.
It already sounds like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah. Quit hoking.
Hulk Hogan.
Do you think he bowls like Fred Flintstone? Does he have like...
Oh,
He looks like a bowler.
I'd say, physical similarity. He probably looks a little bit more like Barney Rubble than Fred Flintstone. But
big guy.
Harken back to the Gary Moeller days.
Yes.
And Bo was, in later years, a bigger dude, too. Not tall-wise, but I'm guessing he loved the cheeseburger. I'm guessing I do, too. I love it.
Well, it happens. These guys play football when they're... These guys play football when they're younger, so they're big and burly.
Yeah.
But when you stop, working out 8 hours a day, and you get a little older, that muscle turns into fat, and those you can't do too.
The Charlie Weisses of the world.
Yeah, well, Charlie Weiss's fat turned into double fat. Is what happened with him.
Yeah, I don't think he ever had muscle. If he did, it was long ago.
Yeah, hopefully the Great White Hoke turns out better for Michigan than the Great Weiss Hope did for Notre Dame when they signed it. But luckily we didn't sign him to a 100-year contract or whatever Notre Dame signed.
Hey, he won
Charlie
4 games. He deserved that 10-year extension.
He did.
It made sense that you would hire this dude for that long.
And he did great as offensive coordinator for the Patriots under, the best head coach in the NFL.
He did friggin' great for Kansas City this year, too.
Yeah, he did.
He was awesome this year.
It's just when they gave him that, contract, too. But
he shouldn't be a head coach. That's why. He should not be a head coach. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't.
I mean, come on. I mean, Marty Morningweg, terrible head coach. Great defensive coordinator. Certain guys that's not...
Yeah. It's offensive.
Was he? Is he offensive?
Marty Morningwig's
retarded. Sorry, it's been a long.
At least in Marty Morningwig's, this is so off subject. I wasn't planning to talk about this. At least in Marty Morningwig's case, he was at the time the youngest head coach ever in the NFL. He might be a head coach again someday, but let him be good at. Let somebody be good at what they're good at doing.
He was in over his head because he had, the least brightest person ever running a football organization.
That's for sure. And Matt Millen, of course, is who we're talking about. But, in Brady Hoke, he's, done what we need him to do here in Michigan. He's done this in a microcosm already with smaller schools. Hopefully, he can do it here, too, And I think, when Bo Schembechler originally coined the term Michigan man back in the day, Hoke has worked for him in the worked for Michigan in the past, so that quantifies what Michigan fans consider a Michigan man. But I believe what Bo Schembechler meant as Michigan man is someone with the right ideal, right, a state of mind who understands what it is to work for the University of Michigan. And I think Brady Hoke embodies that more so than, maybe than Les Miles or Jim Harbaugh did as a Michigan man, just simply as someone who went to the school or worked here in the past.
Well, and honestly, as soon as, and not to belabor the point or whatever, but one of the main problems with Rich Rodriguez is he did I am so tired right now. I'm sorry.
Martin.
No, what's his name? Ohio State's coach.
Jim Tressel.
No, Arizona State coach.
John
Cooper. When John Cooper said in Ohio State, because he sucked against Michigan, he said, Michigan game's just another game. It's no different. And that's basically what Rich Rodriguez said, too. And you can't coach one of these teams without that game. We're not quite as bad. We can go 1-11 as long as we beat Ohio State. It's not like that. But that game is bigger than the rest of them. Sure. That is the game. So if you don't put that game ahead of all the other ones, I'm sorry, then you are not the Michigan man. You don't understand that.
Sure.
So I think one of Brady Hoke's first things he should do, kind of like Jim Tressel did when he announced himself, is let it be known that one of his goals is to bring back the victory to Michigan, because we haven't beat them in 7 years now. And it doesn't seem like a big deal maybe to other people, but
it's a big deal.
It's a friggin' huge
biggest rivalry
deal.
In all of sports.
Absolutely. So yeah, we need to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, when you have the biggest rivalry in all of sports, you need to win every once in a while, and you need to upset them every once in a while.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt Ohio State's had a better team than the Wolverines the last 7 years, but that's why every once in a while you got to steal one. And although Michigan is nowhere near as bad, in my opinion, as Michigan State for sure, and even to Ohio State to some degree, and just making that their number one priority of beating Michigan, you can't go 0-6 against Michigan State and Ohio State in 3 years. You can't do it. And that alone, I was a Rich Rod supporter in a lot of ways, but that alone is a reason to get fired.
No, yeah, it's completely
even
unacceptable.
If your team sucked, you're okay. I get it. He took over a lot of players left, took over a lot of teams. It wasn't his recruits. You can make a million excuses, but 0-6 against Michigan State and Ohio State, no matter how good they were, if they were better than average, doesn't matter. You can't do it.
Yep.
Not here. Not in Michigan. It's 2 huge rivalries. They did I've seen a few different ones. Top 10 rivalries in college football.
We're always
both of those rivalries are in the top 10. Michigan, Ohio State, always number 1. But Michigan State, I've seen it as number 5, number 7 in this in top 10 rivalries in all of college sports. So it's huge. Got to win it. Yeah. Got to win.
He did beat Notre Dame twice, so that was
He did.
Notre Dame was good too.
No, that's a big rivalry as well.
But past that, we had Gary Pickula Jr. to do his In the Paint segment, which is basketball. It's going to be a new segment on the Majors Network. We talked about Oklahoma City winning the championship this year. Kevin Durant, maybe the best player ever. Well, actually, we didn't talk about either of those.
No, we didn't, because neither of them are true. And actually, we've been looking for we have our resident hockey genius and Aaron Agemeyer in our Trash in the Net segment, and we didn't want to rush it. We've been looking for a while for somebody to do the same thing for NBA, and we think we've got that.
Yeah, we're very happy.
Gary Pickula Jr. And his, what are we calling that? In the Paint. In the Paint with Gary Pickula Jr. will be a new segment. It was, like you said, I believe, it was on the Majors Live today. In the future, it's going to be its own show, because we're arrogant. We don't really want to spread the wealth too much, So.
Maybe he's arrogant.
Uh-oh. You said it.
Yes,
that happened.
But we
do have one arrogant Michigan fan.
Arrogant Michigan fans. That's us.
Yep.
I'm a Lions fan too, though.
Yeah. Even though being a Lions fan and being a Michigan fan have nothing in common, despite what the host of this show tried to tell you sports fans they're watching the show for they know. They're smart.
But yeah, we talked to Gary, we talked to Adam, obviously because he's the host. We talked to Aaron.
Ton of callers this week.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
A lot of good callers.
Gilson called in too, and
Yeah.
Andrew
Andrew
Inside the Huddle called too.
And Andrew, we're messing with. We know you weren't drunk. We're just making some jokes here and there.
But we also
might have been token. No, I'm kidding. Of course.
But we also talked about Growdy Radio. Second episode coming at you Thursday. We did a little preview for that. Inside the Huddle, Andrew called in, so we talked about that for a bit. Obviously, Bitches and Badasses, we talked about upsets in sports. That was a rather lengthy. Yeah, it was a very fun subject.
Did you mention Twin Galaxies?
I did not yet.
If you don't like shilling and shameless cross promotion, this was not the show for you. Because
no kidding. This was the shill cast.
We did some of that. We
did.
But with that being said, watch the Twin Galaxies show, the Twin Galaxies show live edition, Detroit Growdy Radio, Inside the Huddle. Watch them all.
Yeah.
Listen to them all.
Extra
Innings Growdy after the show.
Detroit Sports Weekly.
Detroit Sports Weekly. And last night, our very own Artifact from the Majors and from Detroit Growdy Radio broke a video game world record for Portal
live
for
on
Xbox 3.
Live on the internet.
Live. But you can still watch it not so live right after this.
Yes.
If you want.
One quick new thing. Bud Selig, the commissioner of MLB, announced that instant replays and an expanded playoff format will not appear in the 2011 season. We're going to talk about that real quick. We don't have much time, but I'm totally for keeping the playoff system the way it is. I think it's good.
Concurrence.
I don't think there's any problem with it. I like it that it's hard to make the playoffs in baseball. I think that's the way it should be.
And we don't need to be playing baseball on Christmas Day.
Nope. It doesn't need to be NASCAR. The season needs to end. And
you play baseball when it's warm out.
You
don't need to be having, wake up Christmas morning, open your presents, and watch Game 3 of the World Series.
Yes, exactly. And the front of the instant replays, me and Squirrel are going to disagree, I believe. I am not a fan of instant replay. I hate instant replay, actually. So I don't even like it for the home run things. I think instant replay, all it does is slow the game down and makes refs and umpires lazy because they no longer have any accountability. And I don't like that. I think it's hurt football big time. I understand the point of it, and it does help sometimes, but when it gets to the point like it is now where they just make wayward calls because they don't care, because there's no accountability anymore. But that's my opinion on instant replay. And if you want to start doing instant replay and balls and strikes or something like that, give me a break. You might as well not even play the game anymore. That's my opinion on it, though.
Well said. But I am for instant replay in all sports, really in all instances, actually. I believe umpires and refs are already lazy. They already do a lousy job. And my main point with instant replay is that instant replay was not discluded from these sports when it was originally made because they didn't want it. It was not included in these sports because it didn't exist. And to, say, well, we've done it without instant replay for so many years, I don't buy this argument for a second. They used to play baseball without mitts, too. They used to play hockey without helmets. New technology does come around, and it should be utilized. I personally, I'm for it for balls and strikes. I think it's ridiculous that we watch it at home with that little box, in front of the batter. We know if it's a ball or strike before the umpire does, and yet we go with what the umpire has to say about it. To me, the umpire can stand there and look pretty for the sake of tradition and because it's baseball and it looks cool. And umpires will still exist in Little League baseball and college baseball and back home when you play softball with your buddies in a league at the local field. But we're talking Major League Baseball. We're talking a ton of money and a ton of revenue and a ton of fans, too, that want the game to go the way it should go. And I would have no problem whatsoever with a guy up in the booth telling you whether that was a ball or a strike. He can be whispering it into the umpire's ear. Same with plays at the plate. They could be putting that right into a mic in the umpire's ear, and he can still be up there making the symbols and everything else going out and safe and everything else, and it would be beautiful.
Anyways, that is our show for this week. And I would like to make a correction. I apologize. It was episode 44 of the Majors, not 43. That was my bad. But anyways, thanks for joining us. I am Nicholas. This is Squirrel, and thanks for watching Extra Innings. Tune in next week for the same time.
Peace.
Bye.